We'll get started. This is the March 7th Bowling Green, Warren County Planning Commission meeting. And Mr. Peterson, if you would call the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Drain, Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Graham, Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vitale,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, you have the minutes of our February 15th meeting in your packet. Are there any questions? We'll call for a motion, please.
Second.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Abstain.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. The motions are,
Sorry, Commissioner Vitale, sorry, forgot.
Yes, sir.
the minutes are approved. Commissioners, you have the subdivision site development plans in your packet for information. Are there any questions? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Peterson, we have any old business tonight?
No, sir.
All right, we will now enter into our public hearings. Mr. Moore?
Chair Warren, I request that you order that the record tonight include all relevant statutory and regulatory provisions, the Commission's entire file for each application on tonight's docket, and the qualifications for each staff witness. Finally, I'd ask that you administer the oath to those witnesses.
You swear to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Our first item tonight is 2024-07ZBG and 2024-V204. 231 Real Estate LLC, care of Mike Patel, has filed an application to rezone approximately 13.13 acres located on a portion of the property at 1823 Morgantown Road from mobile home park and highway business to HB and MHP. The applicant has also filed a concurrent variance application for the requested setback for an existing commercial structure and an outdoor space for an eating establishment when located in proximity to a residential use. Jenny?
Thank you, Chair Warren. We had a pre-application meeting for the property over on Morgantown Road back in January. The current zoning of the property is mobile home park, highway business, and floodplain. The existing land use is single-family residential and commercial, and then the future land use designation is mixed-use residential. Here is their site plan for the zoning amendment. So the applicants are proposing to rezone approximately 0.1388 acres from mobile home park and highway business to highway business and mobile home park. So this is just a swap. The purpose of the rezoning application is to bring the property into compliance for an existing manufactured home that was placed across the existing zoning line. The applicants have also filed a concurrent variance application, which is the site plan above in front of you as well, for the required setback for an existing commercial structure and outdoor space for an eating establishment when located in proximity to a residential use. So looking down to the property history, Ag is the original zoning for the property, and it was rezoned from Ag to mobile home park and B4, which is what would eventually become highway business in 1972, and the zoning was converted to mobile home park and B4 from mobile home park and B4 to mobile home park and highway business in 2001 with the adoption of the current zoning ordinance. And so looking down to staff's recommendation, the proposal complies with the majority of the criteria assessed in the review process and is generally compatible with the surrounding area. There are noted considerations relating to the proposed setbacks for which the applicants have requested variances, which is on page 4. Apologies, not page 5 of your staff report. If you have any questions, we can go over those in more detail, but with that, staff's recommendation is for approval pending public hearing testimony and discussion tonight. And that's all that I have, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Jenny. Commissioners, are there any questions for these two proposals? All right. Hearing none, is the applicant here or the representative, anything you'd like to add?
Larry Hint here for 231. I've got Mike Patel.
Come on up here, Larry, we got to swear you in. Larry, your name and address, please, sir.
Larry Hinton, 728 Huntington, an attorney at Reynolds Johnston.
You swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Larry.
And they've laid out exactly what we're doing. We're swapping zoning in the areas indicated on the zoning map, and in addition to bringing that in compliance, we were too close to the back end of an eating establishment by a few feet, so we're getting a variance of 227 feet from the required 250 feet for the eating establishment variance, and 17 feet from the required 40-foot setback between the commercial structure and single-family zoning. So we're cleaning things up is what we're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Hinton. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Hinton? Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Dean.
Is there anyone in the audience tonight that has a question or opposition to this request? All right. Hearing none, commissioners would call for the zone change, a motion for the zone change, and then we will have a motion for the variance.
I make a motion to approve the proposed zoning map amendment, docket number 2024-7ZBG, based upon the testimony and documents presented in this public hearing. The proposed zoning map amendment is consistent with the adopted Focus 2030 comprehensive plan as demonstrated by its compliance with objective action items presented in the staff report. Therefore, the proposed zoning map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan. Further, I request that this motion include a summary of testimony presented by the witnesses at this public hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Vitale,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. Commissioners would call for a motion on the variance request, please.
I make the motion to approve the request for the variance presented in the staff report for the property at 1823 Morgantown Road, docket 2024 V02. The testimony presented in this public hearing has shown that the granting of this variance will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. Second.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vitale,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. The motion has been approved, and the rezoning recommendation goes to the Bowling Green City Commission for final approval. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Our next item tonight is 2024-08Z County, Lewis Brown Estate, care of Belinda Yeckering and William and Loretta Byram, have filed an application to rezone approximately 2.9 acres located a portion of the properties at 490 and 516 Old Greenville Road and the property at 564 Old Greenville Road from Ag to RE Residential Estate and Rural Residential and RE with the General Development Plan. Amy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a pre-application meeting for the properties that you mentioned on January 23rd of this year. The current zoning is agriculture and residential estate. The current land use is single-family residential, and the future land use is mixed-use residential. And the applicants did supply a site plan that can be found in your packet for your reference. So again, the applicants are proposing to rezone from agriculture and residential estate to rural residential and residential estate in order to reconfigure 3 existing tracts. And the existing homes are proposed to remain there. So looking down at the bottom of the page, staff recommendation is approval pending public hearing testimony and discussion of the following. The proposal complies with majority of the criteria assessed in the review process and is generally compatible with the surrounding area. And staff has noted considerations regarding potential demolition of the current homes that are located on the properties, and that can be found on page 2 under the cultural and historical features. The existing house at 516 Old Greenville Road was built in 1971. The existing house at 564 Old Greenville Road was built in 1964. Neither are locally or nationally designated historic structures. The existing homes are currently proposed to remain. Staff did suggest that the applicants consider, in the event of voluntary demolition, that salvageable materials be made available to Habitat for Humanity Restore or other similar nonprofit organizations, and that the structures shall be made available to the local fire department for training purposes. The applicants did not agree to this suggestion. But that's all we have for a staff report. I can answer any questions.
All right. Commissioners, any questions from the staff regarding this proposal? Okay. Thank you very much, Amy. Is the applicant here, or their representative, anything you would like to add? Nothing you would like to add? All right, thank you very much.
Commissioner, Chairman, I would like to ask why.
Yes, sir. If one of y'all would come to the microphone, either Belinda Yeckering or William and Loretta Byram, one of you would come, please. Yes, if you would state your name and address, please.
Belinda Yeckering, 613 Old Greenville Road.
Do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Volkert has a question.
Amy, do I understand, are you guys not agreeable with the fire department and the stuff for Habitat?
The stuff for the Habitat for Humanity Restore, I had questions about. I wanted to know, how do we determine how much needs to come out of the home? How much, who's going to come and say, hey, this is what needs to be taken out? What are the stipulations? I didn't have any stipulations against letting the fire department to come out. My father was on the volunteer fire department for many, many years. I don't object to that part. It was the part of who's to say what I need to take out of the house, you know, when we do sell it, or...
Rachel, do I understand it right? If they are going to demolish the house, Habitation for Humanity would come out and they would take the stuff out of the house?
Okay,
Right.
that's-
It's not in the event of the sale of the property, it's just in the event that you decide to
right, and
voluntarily
that's-
demolish any of the structures, that
Right,
you
and-
just afford them
okay.
the opportunity to salvage anything that may be
Okay, that's what I
usable.
wasn't sure about when we did all this, when I spoke with them. I just wasn't sure that if we tear the house down, who is responsible for,
Well, they would actually
Turning
come.
it,
they
so
would
the
actually
Habitat
get
would
it.
come
They would
and
actually
get it.
come get it before you tear the house down.
Okay.
Once you decide you're going to tear the house down, they would come get the items that might.
right, okay,
be
that's,
helpful.
that's the only question I
Okay.
had, just who was going to be responsible for
So,
that part.
so you would be okay with that and the fire department?
Oh,
using it as training
100%.
facility? Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Moore, do we need to put that as a binding element in this?
Yes, if you could, please, well, if you don't mind, I'll do it.
No, yes.
Ms. Yeckering, you understand that you have agreed to some development plan conditions that are
Yes,
of record. And number 2 on that development plan conditions deals with what happens with the construction of new residences, and we would simply add a sentence that says, in the event any residential structure is demolished, you will provide the opportunity to the Habitat Restore to come and remove any fixtures or other parts of the building at their expense. So your obligation is only to provide them with notice.
right,
And that secondly, you'll allow the volunteer fire department or the city fire department to come and conduct training exercises on the structure after you've finished with it and before it's demolished.
yes,
And is that your agreement tonight?
yes.
And
Now
you-
that that has been cleared up, yes.
And do you speak on behalf of William and Loretta Byram?
It's-
And do you all agree with her?
I will agree with that, yes.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience tonight that has a question regarding this potential zoning change? All right. Hearing none, we call for a motion, Commissioners.
I make a motion to approve the proposed zoning map amendment together with and condition on a general development plan docket number 2024-8Z County based on testimony and documents presented in this public hearing. The proposed zoning map amendment is consistent with the adopted Focus 2030 comprehensive plan as demonstrated by its compliance with objective and action items presented in the staff report. Therefore, the proposed zoning map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan. Further requests of motion include a summary of evidence and testimony presented by the witnesses at this public hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Vitale,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. The motion is approved and goes to Warren County Fiscal Court for final approval. Our next item tonight is 2024-09Z County Handy Homes LLC, care of Matthew Hardy and Jeffrey Anderson, have filed an application to rezone 9.6 acres located a portion of the property of 1804 Mount Olivet, Gherkin Road, and a portion of the property at 0 Mount Olivet, Gherkin Road, located approximately 1,470 feet southwest of Gherkin Road from Ag to RE Residential Estate with a general development plan. Ms. Hurt?
Thank you, Chair Warren. We had a pre-application meeting back in February for the property you just referenced located on Mount Olivet Gherkin Road. And the applicants are proposing to rezone the property in order to create 9 building lots. You can see that the current zoning is agriculture and the current land use is also agriculture. The future land use map is split agriculture and rural density residential. And I'll leave the site plan up for your reference. In our review of the application, we did find that the applicants met the majority of the review criteria that we assessed in the review process, and we found the proposal to be generally compatible with the area. And for that reason, our recommendation is for approval, pending any public hearing testimony and discussion. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for this?
Rachel, the only question I have is, since Mr. Graham is not here tonight, is the split face block, is that pretty, is there a lot of other houses in the area with it?
The homes that are directly across the street, many of those use split face block as a foundation material. If you look on page 3, you'll see that they're a mix of brick, plain face block, split face block, stone, and post and pier.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Rachel. Any other questions, Commissioners? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is the applicant here or anything they would like to add? Anything you would like to add? Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that has a question or opposition to this request? Yes, sir. If you would come to the microphone, please, sir. Yes, sir. If you would state your name and address, please, sir.
William Parker, 2177 Gherkin Road.
Mr. Parker, you swear to tell the truth?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Your question, please.
I just was wondering, I own the corner on Gherkin Road and Mount Olivet Gherkin Road, and I was not aware how the lots were going to be. I just wanted to be sure I wasn't being flooded out, because right under the road, and Mr. Hardy knows it well, he used to live there, is a culvert, and water comes down my property line and Mrs. Lawrence's property line. And I just wanted to be sure there was no interference in the water flow to the sinkholes back behind, this property where all the water does flow. And so I'm just curious about that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Ms. Hurt, do you want to answer that question, or is the applicant?
I was going to defer to the applicant.
Okay. Yes, sir. If it, Mr. So you're Mr. Hardy?
I'm Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson and Mr. Hardy.
That's me.
Which one of you wants to speak to that?
I'll let him.
All right, Mr. Anderson, if you would state your name and address, please, sir.
Jeff Anderson, 723 Northview Court, Bowling Green, 42101.
Swear to tell the truth?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So you heard this gentleman's question. Would you mind answering that, please?
Yes, sir. On the 5-acre tract that joins you, that's, what am I trying to say here? We're not building on that lot right now, but there won't be any changes of that particular lot as far as water flow or anything. I mean, we wouldn't be able to stop that up and flood us or you out. We wouldn't want to do that, so.
Thank you.
So.
Yeah, well, and I know there's a easement through there as far as the power lines also. But I mean,
Right.
I just
Yeah.
was curious about that. Is there going to be a access road to the back of the property? Don't you
Well, I
have to
mean,
have-
that 5 acres is gonna access the 5 acres at the road, is that what you're
Or,
asking?
well, no, are you gonna leave the old driveway to Ms. Lawrence's house and her house there?
Well, that's 3 lots over, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
there.
Yeah,
okay,
it's gonna
understood.
stay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, that's gonna stay,
it's
and
on
it's
the-
gonna be in that, I think it's.
In that
7
8-acre tract,
Right.
yeah.
My questions are answered.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Is there anyone else that has a question about this request tonight? All right. Thank you all for, and Commissioners, we call for motion, please.
Make a motion to approve the proposed zoning map amendment together with a condition upon a general development plan, docket number 2024-9Z County, based upon the testimony and documents presented at this public hearing. The proposed zoning map amendment is consistent with the adopted Focus 2030 comprehensive plan as demonstrated by its compliance with the objective and action items presented in the staff report. Therefore, the proposed zoning map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan. Further, request this motion include a summary of evidence and testimony presented by the witnesses at this public hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Vitale,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. The motion is approved and goes to Warren County Fiscal Court for final approval. Our next item tonight is 2024-10ZBG, 2950 Freedom LLC, care of Taika and Nakari and Jerry E. Baker Foundation, have filed an application to rezone 1.332 acres located on the properties at 2950 and 0 Fitzgerald Industrial Drive, approximately 2,216 feet from Dishman Lane, from highway heavy industrial to highway business, with the general development plan. Ms. Hurt?
Thank you, Chair Warren. We had a pre-application meeting back in February for the property you just referenced, located on Fitzgerald Industrial Drive. The aerial view is here for your reference, and the current zoning, as you mentioned, is heavy industrial. The current land use is industrial, and the future land use is mixed-use commercial. And I'll leave the exhibit up for your reference. The applicants have applied to rezone the property from heavy industrial to highway business in order to develop the property with an adult daycare facility and office space, so they'd be repurposing the existing building. And the applicants are also planning to park their fleet vehicles on the property, with ancillary vehicle sales also planned for the site. In our review of the application, we found that the proposal complies with the majority of the review criteria that we assessed in the review process and is generally compatible with the surrounding area. And so our recommendation is therefore for approval, pending any public hearing testimony and discussion. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Rachel, say that again about the sale of,
So they have a set of fleet vehicles that they use for the adult daycare, and they may want to speak more to this in just a little bit, but they also do, when the vehicles are at the end of their life, as far as their use, they do sell those, and those would be sold from the property as well.
So really, they're doing downgrade just so they can put the daycare on it?
Correct.
'Cause they can-
Daycares
'cause
are
they
not,
can do all that on there right now.
right, except for the daycare use, which is not currently permitted in heavy industrial. So they've requested to rezone it down to highway business to allow that particular use.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rachel. Is the applicant here or the representative, anything you all would like to add? All right, thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that has a question or opposition to this request?
Sorry, Mr. Moore was asking me a question. Can you repeat that, please?
Any opposition?
I was just asking if there's any opposition, and the applicant's here, and they have nothing else to add, so thank you, Rachel. Yeah. Okay. Hearing no opposition, commissioners would call for a motion, please.
I make the motion to approve the proposed zoning map amendment together with and conditioned upon the general development plan docket number 2024-10ZBG. Based on the testimony and documents presented in the public hearing, the proposed zone map amendment is consistent with the adopted Focus 2030 comprehensive plan as demonstrated by its compliance with the objectives and action items presented in the staff report. Therefore, the proposed zone map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan. Further, I request this motion to include the summary of evidence and testimony presented by the witnesses at this public hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Volker,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Starks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vitale,
Yes, sir.
Chair Warren.
Yes, sir. The motion is approved and goes to the Bowling Green City Commission for final approval. Thank you all for being here tonight. Mr. Peterson, any other items tonight?
No, sir.
So we will meet March 21st.
Yes, sir.
And thank you all for being here tonight.